Okay, good morning, guys. We're going to go ahead and get started with lesson 22. You will need a calculator for the first section, first couple examples. If you don't have a calculator, you can use an app on your iPads, or there's calculators on Google. Okay, so just find a way to use a calculator. We will just use it for a couple of the examples, and then I'll tell you to put it away. So please be honest when you do the rest of the work. And yeah, we'll go over this together. So, lesson 22 says I can decontextualize a given speed situation, representing symbolically the quantities involved with the formula distance equals rate times time. Remember, this dot here represents multiplication. So when you see it, that means to multiply. So we're going to be dealing with this formula today. Distance equals rate times time. Okay, it's going to give us the ability to find distance when we have the rate and the time. We're also going to be using a formula that is rate equals distance divided by time. So when we only have the distance and the time, we can find the rate. Okay, and rate again is like miles per hour, units per whatever method of measurement that they're talking about. Okay, so let's move on to the first example. Okay, so remember, you can use a calculator for this part, so please follow along. We'll do this together. Okay, so it says Chris Johnson ran the 40-yard dash in 4.24 seconds. What is the rate of speed? Rounds any answer to the nearest hundredth. So with this information, are we looking for distance or are we looking for rate? Well, we have our distance already, which is 40 yards, and we have our time. So now all we're looking for is rate. So the formula that we are looking for here is rate equals distance divided by time. Okay, so we have to divide the distance by the time. Okay, as you see, we haven't really done this before with the divisor having a decimal, okay? And we'll learn about this concept later. But for now, I want you to plug this in quickly into your calculator, 40 divided by 4.24, and then round that to the nearest hundredth, okay? So pause the video and do that real quick. So you should have paused the video and rounded to the nearest hundredth. So we should have gotten 9.43. Okay, so our rate equals 9.43 yards per second. Okay, that is our rate. He runs 40 yards in 4.24 seconds. He's running about 9.43 yards per second. Okay, let's move on. So in lesson 21, we converted units of measure using unit rates. If the runner were able to run at a constant speed, how many yards would he run in an hour? This problem can be solved by breaking it down into two steps. It says work with a partner and make a record of your calculations. So we're going to go through this together. Letter A says how many yards would he run in 1 minute? Well, how many seconds are there in a minute? There are 60 seconds. So if he runs 9.43 yards per second, we have to multiply that by 60 to figure out this answer. So do that real quick in your calculators. Pause the video. So you should have paused the video. You should have plugged this into our calculators, and we should have gotten 565.8. Okay? That's how many yards he would run per minute. Okay? Now, let's look at letter B. How many yards would he run in 1 hour? Okay? So, this is how many yards he runs in 1 minute. There are 60 minutes in an hour, so we have to multiply that by 60, and it's going to be a big number. Okay? So plug this into your calculators and figure this out. Pause the video yet again. So you should have paused the video, okay? and we should have gotten 33,948 yards per hour. So if he stays at that same constant speed he ran that 40-yard dash at, he would run 33,948 yards per hour. Okay, pretty fast. So it says we completed that problem in 2 separate steps, but it is possible to complete the same problem in 1 step. We can multiply the yards per second by the seconds per minute, then by the minutes per hour. So we know that he ran 9.43 yards per second. We could multiply that by 60 seconds per minute, and then again by 60 minutes per hour, and we would get the same answer that we got. 33,948 yards in 1 hour. All they did here was combine the 2 steps we just did in A and B. Okay, let's go ahead and move on, guys. So part 3 says, how many miles did the runner travel in that hour? Well, when we look at our conversion tables that I sent out to you guys, we know that 1 mile equals 1,760 yards. Okay, so we have to divide 33,948 by 1,760. Plug that into your calculator, pause your video, and round it to the nearest tenth. You should have paused your video and plugged this into your calculator, and you should have gotten 19.3 miles per hour, okay, or mph. So if he ran for an hour at a constant speed, he would be running 19.3 miles per hour. Okay, really, really fast. All right, guys, exercise 1. We do not need our calculators anymore from this point forward, so please put those up. Number 1 says, I drove my car on cruise control at 65 miles per hour for 3 hours without stopping. How far did I go? Well, are we looking for distance or are we looking for rate in this situation? Well, it's asking us how far did I go, so it's asking for distance. So we have to use this formula here. So D equals 65 miles per hour times 3 hours. When we multiply this, 65 times 3, 5 times 3 is 15, 3 times 6 is 18, plus 1 is 19, and we get what D equals 195 hours. Okay? All right, guys. So we're going to go over the problem set together one by one. And I want you to try a couple examples on your own. So when I tell you to pause the video, please do so. So number 1 says, if Adam's plane travels at a constant speed of 375 miles per hour for 6 hours, how far did the plane travel? Well, it's asking for distance because it's asking us how far he traveled. So we have to do 375 times 6. This is 30, 42, 45, 18, 22. So he traveled 2,250 miles. Okay. Number 2, a salt marsh harvest mouse ran 360 centimeter straight course race in 9 seconds. How fast did it run it? Now it's not asking for distance, it's asking for rate, so we have to divide. Okay, we know that when we're looking for distance, we multiply, and when we're looking for rate, we have to divide. So I'm going to divide 360 centimeters by 9 seconds. Okay, 9 doesn't go into 3, but it goes into 6 4 times, and all we have left is the 0 left over. Okay, so this mouse ran 40 centimeters per second. Okay, let's move on. Number 3, another salt marsh harvest mouse took 7 seconds to run 350 centimeter race. How fast did it run it? Pause the video and try to figure this one out on your own. You should have paused the video, okay, and tried to figure out number 3 on your own. We know we're looking for rates, so we have to divide 350 by 7 seconds, and we get 50. So this mouse was running 50 centimeters per second. Okay, awesome. Number 4, a slow boat to China travels at a constant speed of 17.25 miles per hour for 200 hours. How far was the voyage? It's asking us how far the voyage was, so it's asking for distance. So our distance is going to equal, we have to do 17.25 times 200. And a trick that I want to show you guys is when you have numbers with a lot of zeros, I like to add them off to the side and then just multiply regularly. Okay? And remember, okay, that there are 2 spaces after the decimal, so we have to add that to our answer. So our answer here is 3,450 miles. Okay? Number 5 says, the Sopwith Camel was a British First World War single-seat biplane fighter introduced on the Western Front in 1917, traveling at its top speed of 110 miles per hour in one direction for 2.5 hours. How far did the plane travel? Remember that 2.5 is equivalent to 2.5, so I want you guys to multiply 110 times 2.5. Remember, there is 1 space after the decimal, so you have to add that to our answer. Pause the video and get that done. You should have paused the video and multiplied 110 by 2.5. Okay, I'll do this right here at the bottom. This is 0, 5, 5, add a 0, 0, 2, 2. We add these up, 0, 5, 7, 2. Remember, there's 1 space after the decimal, so we have to add that to our answer. And we get 275 miles. All right, guys, a world-class marathon runner can finish 26.2 miles in 2 hours. What is the rate of speed for the runner? Obviously, they're looking for rate, so we have to divide 26.2 divided by 2. Okay, remember, we bring our decimal straight up. 2 goes into 26, or 2 goes into 2 once. We subtract that, we get 0, bring down our 6. 2 goes into 6 3 times. Bring our decimal straight up, drop the 2. 2 goes into itself once. So the rate of speed here is 13.1 miles per hour. All right, guys, last one, number 7, and it's the most tricky, okay? It says banana slugs can move at 17 centimeters per minute. Okay, the key word here is per minute. If a banana slug had traveled for 5 hours, how far will it travel? Well, we're looking for distance, but we can't just multiply 17 by 5 because 17 is talking about how many centimeters it goes per minute. We're trying to figure out how far it would go per hour, okay? So we need to figure out how many minutes there are in 5 hours, okay? Remember, there's 60 minutes per hour, 5 hours total. This equals 300. So we have to multiply 17 times 300, add our zeros to the side, and multiply 3 and 5. So our distance equals 5,100 centimeters. All right, guys, I hope you follow along. If you're still confused, please rewatch the video and try the examples out on your own, and then watch me work through them. Okay, have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.